Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. And this is our legend segment. And tonight, we got the mother of all legends with us tonight, Miss Yvonne Lee Odom. Yvonne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate it.
So when I say the mothers of all legends, you are the mother of all legends. So when I introduce you, a lot of people in Delray and Boynton, they know you, right? But even some of the younger folks don't really know, right?
Yes.
So you are the wife of Eddie Red Odom, who was one of my coaches with the Delray Rocks.
Yes.
But he's a Delray legend, Carver High superstar.
Yes, he is.
Great middle linebacker, great punter, right? And also, Yvonne, I don't know if you know this, I punted in high school. He taught me how to punt when I was with the Rock.
Oh, wow.
That's how I got that job, right? And he played football, and he also played baseball at Bethune-Cookman before he gave football up, correct?
Yes.
Now, tell me if I'm right. Now, he played in the Braves organization and was a roommate of Dusty Baker.
You are correct.
And Dusty Baker, ladies and gentlemen.
To this day, yes, they still talk.
They still talk. And Dusty, ladies and gentlemen, is managing the Houston Astros, who are playing the Atlanta Braves right now in the World Series.
That's right. And I would bet money if Eddie needed to go and he'd give him a ticket.
He'll go. He'll go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's his boy. He'll go.
Yes. He'll give him a ticket.
No doubt. And so on top of that, you got your own kids. You and Red. You got Joy.
That's right.
Joy's an educator.
Yes.
And also, she's a public speaker. She's in a mix.
Yes.
She's in a mix. She is a powerful young lady.
Yes.
And then you have the big cat, little Eddie Jr.
Well, actually, he's the baby.
He the baby?
The second one.
Candy the second one? Okay. Well, we got Candy. and here's what I love about kids. Now, they can't help. They both athletic. They can't help but have athletic kids. Candy ran track star at FSU, Florida State University.
That's right. Full ride.
She was a hurler and a help athlete, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So that means Candy, I'm going to brag a little bit. Candy still holds the state record for the heptathlete.
Are you kidding me?
She got the middle school record for the long jump. Now that's
what?
A long jump. Yes.
That's my girl.
In the state of Florida, yes.
Wow, that is awesome. That is so awesome.
And then my son went to FAMU on baseball scholarship.
He went to FAMU. He was a trade in the family. He was a trade in the family, right?
Yes.
Every family got to have a trade in the family. None of my kids.
We made it work.
Oh, yes, you did. None of my kids went to FSU. Not one of them. All of them out. One of them went. But anyway, and then on top of that, and Eddie played baseball and was drafted by the Seattle Mariners out of high school.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was, right? And then played baseball at FAM, and and that's his love of baseball as well.
Yes.
And then on top of that, Candy and Candy has some children, right?
Yes.
3 children, a girl and 2 boys.
Yes.
And Corey Golf.
Yes.
And we know one of them as Coco Golf, the 17-year-old tennis sensation that we all love from Delray Beach.
That's right. She got 2 very famous granddaddies, Pratt and Reverend Odom.
That's right.
And the third one is Reverend Lee. Yes.
Reverend Lee. Oh, see, hey, it's in the genes. She can't help it.
Yes.
She can't help it. It's in the genes.
That's right. Reverend E.D. Odom and Reverend R.M. Lee, and then her step-grandma, which is Johnny May Lee. So I'm telling you, it's a blessing. It's just a blessing, and I'm just grateful. Yes.
Amen. Amen. Well, I tell you, you've done a great job in your home, hands down, no doubt about it. But the most amazing thing is the fact that you and your husband started a program. He started coaching the Rocks years ago.
As a matter of fact, my husband was the first Black coach that Bill Smith handpicked him to hire.
Wow.
And I tell this story because somebody need to tell it. At the time, the Rocks were all white.
Right.
And the parents at the time was not very pleased with Bill's decision. But this is why I tell this story, because when people are intentional things can happen.
Yes,
And
that's
the
right.
city manager at the time indicated to Bill, you can hire who you want to hire. And so what Bill did, he hired Eddie anyway, and then he
Wow.
disbanded the parents group.
Wow.
And Eddie and Bill coached for over 20 years, you know, and the rest is history. So
the rest is history. Well, you know
yes,
what?
and I'm telling you, when you make decisions at the time, you never know what the impact is going to be.
Well, I'm
So
gonna tell
that
you
was
something.
courageous on Bill's part and also the city manager at that time for Delray.
Well, I'm gonna say this: when you do what's right,
yes, absolutely.
things can not only last, but they can grow and they can increase. And that Delray Rock program started in the '60s, and they stronger now than they were
And
in the
how about
'60s.
my grandson? I got a grandson playing right now on Eric Davis undefeated team.
Undefeated.
How about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They
See
bad.
how
They
that
bad.
generation works. You know, the
That's how it
Lord
works.
works in mysterious ways. You know
Yes.
that.
Yes. No doubt about it. Well,
Yes.
I was there a few weeks ago for homecoming.
Yes, I saw you.
And
It
man,
was so
I
good
was
to see
just
you.
grinning the whole time. You know, I was having a good time watching them boys because some things hadn't changed.
No, that's true. That's
Some
true.
things haven't changed. I mean,
And those seeds that my husband sowed, I'm telling you,
yes,
it's all coming back. It's all coming back.
yes, absolutely. Well, matter of fact, when he dead and gone, they're still gonna be growing.
Oh yeah. Oh
Think
yeah.
about that. For what
Yeah.
he did and what Bill Smith did,
Yes.
I mean, words can't explain. You know, when I think about my personal testimony coming through the Rock program, right? Bump Mitchell coached me really my second year, because I went out there the first year and I quit. The second year, I went out and my daddy told me, Reverend Butler, he said, Bobby, I'm telling you now, you go out there this year and quit, you'll never play football again.
Oh,
well, that's all he had to tell me.
Yeah.
Because Bump didn't make it easy for nobody.
And you know that's my husband's first cousin.
I know. So yeah. They're bloodline
brothers, yes.
Right. So he coached me, and then Red got me my last 2 years on the 130-pound team. With the Delray Rocks, and I always tell the story. He was the one that pushed me to start tackling when I didn't want to do it, and that paid dividends. I mean, I tell parents all the time. I say sometimes it's okay to do what the coach asks you to do.
Yeah, because sometimes coaches see things that
you can't see.
Yes,
absolutely. Exactly. They've been doing this long enough. They know some things, right?
Yes.
And so, because to be honest with you, all I saw myself doing is just throwing the football and running the football.
Right.
I didn't know I had a skill to play on the other side once it was developed.
Right.
And so Red developed that skill, and to this day, man, I love it. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. But when I got older and I started looking back, I said, you know what? That year, that 8th grade year, when I sat the bench and I went from offense to defense, learning to play defense, was the best thing ever happened to me.
There you go. I give Eddie a lot of credit. He has a knack. I don't know what it is, because we've been married a very long time.
A long time.
He has a knack of putting kids in a position so they could be successful for the next level. That's what he always would say. Because when you're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, everybody can play everything.
Everybody, right? That's right.
But it depends on your body, how you're gonna grow.
There you go.
You got to put that kid in a position to be successful, and he has that knack. He does.
There you go. You said a mouthful right there, right? Body types,
yes,
skill level, they're God-given skill, they're God-given talent, right? And so I could have never imagined myself playing defense.
Yeah.
and that year I learned how to tackle and play cleanup dude. I was mad the whole year. And there's nothing wrong with being mad.
Yeah.
It could be a motivator, because I wanted to play. Had I been starting on defensive line, I think it would have been better, but it was okay. Yeah. That really put fire in me right there.
But listen, I watched you all through it, and I'm telling you, were one of those players that did not leave the field. Now, you might not think I didn't remember, but I remember.
Well, to this day,
you did not leave the field.
I didn't leave the field. To this day, my mama always used to get mad with Coach Wilder, I said, why? And she'll bring it up today. She said, you was playing too much. I said, no, I wasn't.
No.
I said, no. I said, I could do it. So anyway, so listen, so all right, so where were you this past weekend?
Well, I had the privilege of being invited to the class of 1971. They celebrated their 50th year of graduating from Atlantic High School. And I had graduated in 1964.
Oh, look
yeah,
at that.
there I am on the
There you go. I look at you right there. Look at that.
Like the dance. And I was thrilled that they thought enough of me to invite me. And it's been 60 years since I integrated the school when it was Seacrest High School.
It was Seacrest High School. Yes. Hey man, now we want to talk about. Look at Jack Adams. All right, Jack, what's up? Say hello, neighbor.
We neighbors.
Y'all neighbors, right? Right. That's my good buddy from Delray, Jack Adams.
And so I tell you, I just love. I when I went over there, and that's a whole story in itself because I was a 10th grader. I started for Coach Pompey. I was a freshman starter.
That's right.
I was Miss Carver attendant, had already been elected. And at the time, the Palm Beach County School District had not done anything to integrate their schools, even though, what was that? The Board of Education was back in 64? No, not 64. Whatever the date was. It was like 7 years we hadn't done anything. So there was a group from West Palm Beach that came to my father's house. And this was told to me later, and asked my father permission to use me to go and integrate the school.
Wow.
And when I came home from the football game, that's just what he said. Because if you know my dad, he's very nonchalant, not dramatic. He was like, well, Bonnie, that's my nickname. You know, I fill out some papers for you to go to Seacrest. I'm like, you did what?
You did what?
And I love my school. I was like everything else. But when I went the next day, because remember, Carver played on Thursday night. Seacrest played on Friday, so they could see each other's games. And that's what I admired about our schools at the time. Because Seacrest and Carver had a unique relationship because of the head coaches.
Right.
Coach, yes. And they watch each other's games. And but when I went to school the next day, everybody was like, oh yeah, you'll be good, you should go, that kind of thing. So now I felt I had an obligation.
well, now let's talk about something now. Because I got some information from Carver High. All right? So when Mr. Pompey started the sports program in 1944, and he did a very thorough job in putting down the best players, the all-conference players, the stars of the team, and Miss Yvonne Lee name is in here. And so you left there. It says here, some stars who made this record. And they listed the name of a girl talking about basketball. They had all the forwards down there. Now, this was a period, Yvonne, from 1944 to 64. So we're talking about a 20-year period.
Wow.
That's a lot of athletes now.
Yes.
And they list all the forwards. And then they list all the guards. And then on that guard list, I see Miss Yvonne Lee.
I was a guard. I blocked shot. Kind of remember now, we only played 3 and 3. 3 guards, 3 forwards.
That's right.
And we bounced the ball 3 times, then you had to pass.
It was a different game back then.
Different game. And I got a niece now that's playing for Dillard University. And that was my pet to her. I said, girl, I want you to be a shot blocker. She is that today. Because that's my favorite thing, the block shot.
But see, you tough. And so I know you can play some defense, right?
Yes. And I started my freshman year with Coach Pompey. And I loved it. He had a lot of confidence in me. And I never will forget it. We were playing on an outdoor court in Pahokee, Florida. And he grabbed me by my hand and he goes, Lee, you've been looking good in practice, and I'm going to start you today.
Oh, wow. There it is.
Yes, and that was it.
I love it.
I loved it because he said, I always had a smile, but I played hard.
You play hard. That's right. But it's amazing. and to as a freshman to start in Pahokee.
Yes.
That's a whole nother thing. People don't get that.
Look, Carver didn't play the radio. We had some excellent female basketball players. You tell it because Coach Pompey didn't play the radio, honey.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. That's good. That's good. Well, you know, I'm looking at some of these names, right? And I'm just some of these guards in here. You know, you, Dorothy Jones, Beatrice Clemens, Louise Jackson.
Oh, yeah. That's Spencer Jackson, mama.
That's Spencer mama?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. I mean, and all these great athletes in here, right? Yeah. Alberta Edwards, Dorothy McCrae.
Yes, yes.
You know, Daisy Odoms.
Oh, absolutely. My sister-in-law.
Your sister-in-law, all right? Janie Francis.
You know, Eddie made her tough.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He gave a hard time, didn't he?
Yes, that was his playmate.
So one of the things though, when I look at, you know, these sports and Mr. Pompey was involved in every one, boys and girls. He coached pretty much everyone.
He sure did. And one thing about him that a lot of people don't realize, Pompey organized a lot of the intercollegiate athletes for Black high school. He was very innovative.
Yes, yes.
And see, that's what disappointment I had when I went over to Seacrest.
Right.
Because they didn't have that.
They didn't have it, right.
It just, that's the only thing. Because, honey, I always tell people I probably would have been a Tiger Bell if I had stayed at Carver.
All right. but the Lord knew better.
Yes. Because all they had was intramurals.
Right.
We played actual sports.
Right.
And we couldn't get on a tennis court. We couldn't get on a golf court. That's what they had, tennis and golf. Yeah. But we had track and basketball and that's what we did. And we played other high schools and had conferences and the whole bit. So Mr. Pompey was very innovative.
Wow. I tell you what, he was a man who first of all, he's well versed and well studied.
Yes.
Into not only just education, but in the way the world was going at the time, and knew how to position himself to get things done in the community. And my hat goes off to him because that man, he was a real guy.
Well, he saved my husband's life. I tell anybody that because Mr. Pompey put so much confidence in Eddie.
Yes.
And if it were not for athletics, I tell people that I'm not going to speak that, but he probably would have been in jail.
In jail somewhere, right?
I'm married to a thug.
Well, you know, I always say it this way. The athletic kids have so much energy. They just have to find a place to put that energy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so when you have organized sports, it really keeps kids out of trouble. But what it also does, Yvonne, you know this well better than me, is that it gives kids mentors, other men.
It gives them like organized. They are organized. Organized. Discipline. You got to be somewhere on time. You got other people depending on you. And it's a life skill. And I believe strongly in it. And I don't like it when parents punish their kid by taking them off a team.
That's not the thing to do.
My husband, he ain't like that. No,
that's not the thing to do.
On me, because he didn't take the garbage out. That's what he said.
Oh, come on.
That was his thing.
What?
He tell his parents, look, don't you punish your child because he didn't take the garbage out and say he can't be on the team. He would have that talk with the parents.
Oh wow. Well, you got to do it. And it takes somebody like him to do it, because at the end of the day, I think part of what we're missing in society today, right, is the fact that when we think about when we were in schools, right, every teacher we had can discipline us, and the teacher and the parents were all on the same page.
All is on the same page. And you know what I used to tell my parents and the kids' job is to divide the mama and the teacher, because they want to get their way. Parents should never think that teachers got a motive against your kid.
That's right.
Our job is to help your kid, and we're trying to help you help your kid.
There you go.
You know what else I tell a Bobby? I say, honey, you're going to cry tears over me before I will.
That's
I
right.
have no reason to, do
do
something wrong to your child. And parents need to get back to that.
They need to.
allow the coaches to help you with your child.
Yes.
They can do
Yes.
that.
Well, I tell you what, you think you punishing them at home. That punishment in practice can be a whole lot worse than that punishment at home.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if you're on the same page with your coach's parents, right? You let that coach handle them.
Yes.
Right? Let that coach handle them. And you back it up at home.
Right.
You know, get on the same page. You know, I remember being in school, you know, back when we were in school, you know, back in the old days, you know, we got spankings in school. You remember those days? And I was blessed.
When I first started, I could spank too.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, it was the way we
did
things. Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you did. I had a teacher, we had a few teachers on Spady, you know, the old Carver before.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
And so I had Miss Grace Lycurgus as a 5th grade teacher.
I remember her.
And she didn't play. You hear me? And when she got me, Yvonne, before I got home, the word was going to get home and Reverend Butler was going to get me again.
Oh, yeah.
They were on the same page back then. They didn't play.
Absolutely.
And so that was good for us. I mean, when I look back, I'm thankful that we had that kind of discipline in our schools back in the old day, right?
Right.
We had no kids. I mean, some of us got spanked. And I think I probably got spanked more than a lot of them because I had that energy, right? I was going to mess up some kind of way. And my boy Larry Coffey, you know, he was another one. We were going to always have to touch our toes to Miss Lycurgus closer, right?
But listen, you speak of Larry. Let me tell you a little tidbit. My father taught his mother and his father and Mr. Durden all back in Daytona.
What?
Yes, he did. And he always called her Juanita Gullins. Because that was her main name.
Wow. Well, see, I knew y'all was from Daytona.
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Wow. See, that's a small world.
It's small
and
world.
It's amazing how, you know, even all the families, because Eddie came from Georgia. He's a native Georgian, right?
Right.
So we all migrated from somewhere.
Yeah, that's
all the way down to Delray. Now, my dad's side of the family, we're Bahamian, right? But my mom's side, the Weatherspoons and the Bowies came from South Carolina through Georgia through Quincy to Delray Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and a lot of us came. The Cornelius family, they're from Georgia. I mean, there's a lot of families that came from South Georgia, South Carolina, and ended up in Delray.
Right.
Yeah, ended up in Delray. So now you play basketball. What about? Did you run track?
Well, I couldn't do it the same year, but I ran when I went over to Seacrest, and I was never beaten.
Wow. Wow, that's big right there now.
In 3 years now, I don't know if it's because of the competition, but nobody ever beat me.
Nobody can beat you, right?
And you know, I teased my daughter, Candy. I always told her, I said, girl, if you had my sprint speed, you'd have been in the Olympics.
In the Olympics.
Your daddy G slowed you down just a tad.
I love it. I love it.
I was a sprinter.
Oh yeah, I know it. And see, but you know, the other thing that is amazing, the fact that, all right, so when you went to Seacrest, you didn't have sports, but track, right?
Yeah.
And so
we did intramural basketball and all of that.
Well,
Here's the thing too. The first year that I went over there, we had the meeting with the principal, and they wouldn't put me in a PE class, and I about had a fit.
What?
So because you know, I guess they thought something was going to happen. So I went myself to the counselor and told her, you got to put me in a PE class. I'm not used to having a study hall.
Right.
And when I got there, that opened the door. Because you know, athletes, whether you black, white, blue, or green, they appreciate other athletes.
That's true.
And that's true. What happened. You know, I was very good at what I did. And a lot of the girls admired that.
Right. So let's talk about it. All right. So in 1961,
yes,
you were the first African American to set foot on the Seacrest campus.
Yes.
So for you, what was that like? Because, you know, a lot of people hear stories, and I got you on here. We got you. You can tell us exactly how that was for you.
Yeah.
Was it a tough transition?
Well, this is what, Bobby, a lot of people ask me that. And so I thought about it, but one thing, I was not afraid. And most of my career has been dealing with at-risk kids.
Okay.
And to me, instilling good self-esteem you know, letting kids understand they can do anything. Don't be afraid.
Yes.
So that was a skill I didn't have because my dad didn't make a big deal out of it. He just thought it was like routine.
Okay.
The adults, the one who thought something was going to happen.
Right.
Because they offered for me to use the faculty restrooms. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I also found out later that they blocked the street off so that the onlookers couldn't see me coming and going. And there was one picture that was taken of me as I exited the end of the day. Also, I received the letter from the school board telling me to report at midday. I didn't go at the very beginning of school, again, thinking that something would happen. I also later found out from a young lady named Paula White, who was the editor of the Squall at the time, that the principal, Mr. Bob Fulton, had a meeting with all of their student leaders to let them know I was coming.
Okay.
So he prepared them for me, and he told them, I expect you to treat her fairly. Now, this is what I found out later.
Later,
and believe it or not, Paula and I, after 40 years, we met up. Sun Central reunited us, gave us a story, and we have been having lunch for the past 10 or 12 years. But unfortunately, Paula and her husband had a very tragic death. They got drowned this past year, but she and I, she would come to church with me, and
wow, that's awesome.
She told me I was the only classmate that she actually dealt with. But it's like what I try to tell people: once you get to know somebody,
there you go.
Know them for who they are.
Absolutely.
And Bobby, let me tell you something. When I spent 3 years over there with white people, I told our people, look, y'all done gave a disservice to us because, see, they led us to believe white people were smarter. They didn't skip class. They didn't do bad things. And people are my age, they don't realize it because our teachers had to prepare us to be successful. They wanted us to do the best possible thing because we had to. We had to be better.
That's right.
So when I went over there for 3 years, I'm like, well, dang, I'm smarter than a lot of these people.
I love it.
Yes, and they had a smoking section.
Right.
Carver, if you wouldn't dare be caught smoking. We dressed up for school.
That's right.
And
That's
they wore like shorts and stuff.
Shorts. it was totally different, right?
It was that's why I would not trade it. Yes. Because I learned so much, and it literally dictated my life story those 3 years to instill in our people. Look, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever you want to do.
But we were brainwashed. We really were.
Well, I call it that mentality. You know, I'm an avid fisherman, right? I love to fish.
My dad too, child.
I'm from South Florida. I can't help
my brothers.
And so we used to go fish. I used to fish with my father-in-law before he passed. Now, I'm a saltwater fisherman. He liked freshwater, so I go with him in freshwater. And so he liked to catch specks, which everybody knows is a crappie, right? And so he would use crickets, all right? And so
that's what my brother used, crickets.
Crickets, all right.
Yes.
So we'll go to the bait shop and we'll get the crickets. And there's it's this thing that you put the crickets in, right? You put them in there, and you overnight, you leave them in there. They're closed in. And then the next day you go to the fish creek and you open it, and not one of those crickets will try to escape.
Wow.
Right? It's a mindset.
Yes.
And so people got to understand that you can do anything you set your mind to. And Miss Yvonne, I'm going to tell you this right now. The one person in my life that I had in my corner who preached that to me almost daily was Emma Jean Butler, my mom.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I know you.
And she would always tell me, Bobby, you can do anything. Yes. And so sometimes I come home with tears in my eyes because I was strongly believing that I was going to be a pro player. You know, most people are going to shoot that down, right? when you this big.
Yeah, that's all right.
Right. And nobody at that time from Delray playing in the pros, right? And, you know, I never forget it. And so my mom would always back up and say, Bobby, you don't believe nothing they say. you can do anything you set your mind to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that one thing, between my mama and Larry Coffey, I call them my mastermind group, because me and Larry get on the phone, and we'll be on the phone like girls talking 20, 30, 40 minutes. But guess what we talking about? Football the whole time.
That's right. He's a very good friend with my brother Ray Nod.
Oh, him and Ray like this. Yeah, they like that. Yeah. And good so
men, good men.
So I always give Larry a lot of credit because, you know, he helped encourage me too. And I really thought we had the same dream all my life. But he said, I never had that dream. He said, I wanted to play football in college.
Right.
And he said, he said, it was always you talking about the NFL. You talking about pro. All you talking about was Barry Hill. All you talk about Charles Canese, right? And so, and I guess so. And so, and it happened. You know, it happened. And, you know, you have to, on top of that, you got to go for it. But, you know, there's a lot of things that can happen wrong.
Right.
You see it all the time. Kids get injured, whatever.
Right.
You know, but me and Larry, we'll see somebody from Carver High come home from college and quit. And we will huddle up and say, look, man, if we get that opportunity, we ain't never coming back home.
Oh,
we'll always say stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
If we get that chance, we're not gonna ever come back home, you know. And so when I left here in 1977, I left with that mindset. And my mama told me this, and I find this hard to believe, but I'm not calling my mama a lie. But she said when she dropped me off at Florida State, she said, I got out the car. I took my suitcase out the car. She said, I didn't even say goodbye. And when she talked, I said, Mama, I ain't do that. She said, boy, you did. You didn't even say goodbye to me. And this was my comeback. And it had to be true. I said, Mama, I was ready.
But let me tell you a story your dad told right at our church in the pulpit. He said, when you went up there, I guess it didn't go exactly how you were. And you wanted to come home, and he told you, well, you can't come to boys.
Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened.
He told that in the pulpit.
It was true. Now think about it. Think about it. Now I was a junior at Florida State. I was playing my little tail off too, right? And I got mad because, you know, I had dreams and goals.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be an All-American my junior year, right? And so I'm doing the work. And so, but every time I play a monster game, they'll give some of my stats to another teammate.
Oh, wow.
And so we played Florida my junior year, the last game of the year, regular season. And I had 2 block kicks. I had an interception. They gave me 1 interception and 1 block kick, took my other block kick, and gave the MVP to that guy who they gave my second block kick to.
Oh, wow.
And so I was just boiling, right? I'm just boiling. I wasn't a player of the game, you know, because when you're a kid and you see those dudes in college, when they say they're the player of the game, you know, they're on the All-American. Bob Hope talked to them on the All-American team, you know.
Right.
I wanted all that to happen. And they kept giving my stuff away. I told Dad, I said, I'm coming home. And he said, just like this. He said, where you going to stay?
Right, that's how he told it.
He cut it off just like that. He said, where you going to stay? You can't come back here. Well, and really, it was like he shook me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I woke up. Yeah, I can't quit. Right. I can't quit. I don't want to go back. So yeah, and that's the truth. But see, think about it. No matter what we do, we always go through. There's always going to be some difficult moments. There'll always be some challenges when we're on our journey, right?
Absolutely.
And so that being the case, that was a challenge for me. Yeah. And then I go back the next year, and I'm going to tell you another one. And I hope kids are watching, I hope parents are watching. Because my senior year at Florida State, after I had played my senior year of football, I was done with track, and it was March of that year. Okay. Now I'm working out for Pro Scouts, getting ready for the draft in April. Okay. And all of a sudden, this guy came around. He was stealing hot goods, selling to the football players on the football team. Right. And he was selling these big floor model TVs. And I told my wife at the time, she was my fiance at the time, but my wife, that I'm gonna get one of them floor model TVs. And she said, Bobby, you better not get that TV. And the more she said, don't do it, the more I was going to do it, right? Because I ain't want no woman telling me what to do, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to get that TV because I'm tired of seeing Sanford and Son in black and white. I love Fred Sanford. I'm going to see him in color, right? So the night last night I saw the guy, he said, y'all can come pick up your TV tomorrow. I said, man, I'm going to pass on it. Just like that. Yvonne, 2 days later, me and my wife was watching TV, and this bulletin flash, and it named all 6 of my teammates who had bought those hot TVs.
Oh, wow.
And they showed them, they had them all locked up, their hands behind their back. Wow. Now, it was 3 seniors in that group. All 3 of us was projected to go in the first 3 rounds.
Right.
All right. Those other 2 didn't go in the first 3 rounds. They went in the 6th and 7th round. One of them didn't make a roster.
Right.
And then the other one, he ended up playing 14 years in the league. He was a great player. But just like that. We get ready to be wealthy.
Yes.
In a month. The little 22-year-old, 21-year-old mind can't think.
Right.
Can't think that well to say, look, I shouldn't do that. I mean, I'm finna go in the draft next month, and you don't think like that. You just see what you want, and you want it now.
But you got to tell those stories so kids can think. Sometimes they don't
right?
Think.
Exactly. You
and
can't.
It's important that you tell the story.
Right. You can't do it. Now, I'm gonna tell you another thing about that. Reverend Butler was in Jacksonville, Florida, when that happened. My daddy, and he saw it on TV.
Oh, wow.
And he called me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Bobby, you better be glad that wasn't you. He said, because I was in Jackson. I was going to come in there and whoop your And I couldn't tell him that, Yvonne. But he don't know. I was that close to being with him.
Getting that TV.
Getting that close. But, all of a sudden, it goes back to some other things, too.
Oh, yeah.
Your mother, your grandmother, they praying for you.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
They keep you covered in prayer.
And Eddie say his mama just simply told him, son, you know right from wrong.
You know right from wrong.
Just that simple.
Exactly. You know right from wrong.
Yes.
And we make crazy decisions. And I tell kids all the time, one of my biggest things when I speak to kids, I talk to them about integrity. And when I say integrity, I mean, make sure you do the right thing. Right.
Right.
Because, what you think is fun, and, if you're not conscious of making the right decision, can cost you your life, can cost you your opportunity, can cost you a lot of things in life, just by making one simple mistake. I say, so you got to be on top of it and do what's right? Because it's important. It's important. So I'm so happy I had you on tonight.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
With you. Because a lot of people don't know you're a legend. They don't know.
Y'all saying. But I'm a PK kid. You're a PK kid. See how good we are?
Yeah, how good we are, right. I mean, we conduct ourselves pretty good, right?
Yes.
So with you guys, when you and Red started the American, the Little League,
yes.
Little League program, that changed a lot of kids' lives.
Well, Bobby, let me give you a bit of history. Delray had a segregated league. And one thing about Little League baseball, you had to draw boundaries.
Okay.
And the people that started Delray National Little League drew the boundaries of Delray Beach, included the boundaries, and then they had the word accept.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we would accept. I wished I had the map because had they included the entire city, we never could have been organized. So word got around that, they're not going to last. But I will say there were white people behind the scenes who helped Eddie get the charter.
Yes.
They didn't want to do it publicly.
Right.
Eddie's passion was baseball. Yeah. And he went with a truckload of kids to go get in a tournament that he saw over there with the old police station. And they told him, son, you need a charter to get in this tournament, and he didn't know what a charter was.
Well, it was, right.
He sure did, but he went around. He got Bump Mitchell was our first president. We
Okay.
had King Burgess, and I was pregnant with Candy. When
What?
he gonna tell me, well, all you need to do is take notes. I told Eddie, I don't have time for this. And the rest is history. And we have
Wow.
organized since 1971. Right now, Terrence
Mm.
Thomas is our president. And
Mm.
we're doing well. We had this
Man.
past year, which I'm very proud of.
Mm-hmm.
We have 7 of our little boys that played with us from T-Ball, starting for 5 different high schools in the district.
Is that right?
That's right. And we would not have any black, because there are not many black kids playing the game.
Playing baseball. That's right.
I'm very proud of my grandson who decided to play. This is Candy's middle child, Cody, and he's
Cody.
nationally ranked
Oh,
in
wow.
baseball. Yes, he
Okay.
is. Cody
Okay.
Golf, yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So baseball, because people don't, we don't have the cheerleaders, you don't have a
Right.
band, and it's a
Right.
sport that you got to play because you love it. But we are very proud of those fellas, and we honored them at our opening ceremony. I got big pictures of them and had them displayed, on the field. And
Right.
so the
Oh,
little
man.
leagues
That's
can
special. That's
see.
special.
Yes, I'm
That's
telling
special.
you. So
Right.
we're very proud of them, and I'm very proud of that. But
That's
it's
so
tough.
good.
Black
Well,
kids do not play
yeah.
baseball.
Well, let me ask you this question since
Sure.
we're talking about that.
Yeah.
And so I always ask myself this question: why? Now, do
Because
you
it's a
think?
daddy sport. And
Ah,
if you don't play it when you're young,
right. Oh, yeah.
you can forget it. Football, you
Right.
can go
Right.
out in 9th grade. You're
Right.
not gonna make anybody's team if you wait till you 9th grade in baseball.
That's true. That's
It's not
true.
gonna happen.
That's true.
So it's a daddy sport, and
Mm.
T-ball, and we have some very good coaches. Some of our rock coaches
Mhm.
are now coming over and playing the T-ball. So
Okay.
we're getting the word out.
That's
Because
good.
I just believe you don't know what your kid gonna do. So you
That's
just
true.
got to make sure. And Delray is good for that. I love Delray
Mhm.
because we
Mhm.
got everything a kid could want in
Can
our
want.
town.
Right.
We
Right.
got
That's
it
good.
all.
That's
But
good.
sometimes parents can't force it. They
Mhm.
just got to allow the kid as they develop and grow to see which sport that's going to be good for them.
Now, so back when we were kids, right? I played football, was the first organized sport I ever played. And Delray was big for street football.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
we played, it was so competitive in the streets. And then the Rocks was formed in the late 60s, and I started doing that. Then my last year at Spady had the first organized basketball. We played basketball when I was in the 6th grade at Spady.
Wow.
And that was before middle schools, when 6th grade was the last year of elementary school.
Right, yes.
All right. And so we won the whole thing. We won everything. And then when I went to Carver Junior High one year, 7th graders couldn't play sports.
Right.
So I only played rock ball in the 7th grade. And then my 8th grade year, I got some older boy scared me. And he said, and so one day at the school, he said, "Come, let's go play some ball." I said, "Man, I got to go home. I got to wash some dishes and make sure I vacuum that floor." And he said this to me. This is no joke. This is a true story. He said, "Boy, you keep doing that girl work, you're going to be a girl." Right?
Oh.
Well, when I tell you, I took that thing literal, I was so scared.
Oh,
so I started signing up for everything after school so I could go.
Oh, yeah. I want to share this too. Back in 1976, our senior league won the state of Florida, and that was when Dwight Gooden and all those guys were playing.
Oh,
we had
wow.
Spencer Jackson, Gus Burgess, and
that's a good
Collins,
group.
all of them. And 3 years in a row, we won the district. And then the last 5 years now, our senior league has won the district. So, but people don't know it. It's just the parents and a few people. But we got a pretty good team.
Pretty good team.
This is my husband, and he stopped coaching football because, in his word, he said they got 1 million football coaches and not enough baseball coaches. So after 20-some years, he decided to do baseball. Yeah, he did football and baseball for many years.
Oh, many years, right.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, though, Yvonne, because you've been around. So now we look at the sports. When you start talking about young kids playing sports, because my boys went through it.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm glad when I was a kid, I never had to choose.
Right.
Because I could play football during football season.
Right.
I could play basketball when it was basketball season.
Right.
And then when that was over, I ran track. It never interfered with the other team.
Absolutely.
Now football is year round.
And see, that's not fair. And
That's
parents
not fair.
understand, because, and the coaches too, because listen, 90-something% of all the football players that was drafted were multi-sport athletes.
There you go.
And see, a lot of parents get, because all these
there you go
sports, they help each other.
They help each other.
They really do.
Right.
Until they get about, I would say, even as 13, maybe 14, you might want to make a decision.
Right.
But when they're younger than that age, just let them have fun. And the coaches got to buy into that. They really do. Because like Coach Pompey, he coached all the sports.
Oh, that's right.
When we had Coach Hurst, they were football coaches, Coach Cooper. Then they coached another sport. They all did it. So it wasn't like, you had to make a child choose.
Right.
You just didn't, and that's not fair.
Right.
So,
and that's what
I keep talking about it.
Right. Well, you got to, because see, I always think about this, and I try to explain this to coaches. And when I got in high school, when I was a 9th grader at Atlantic, the best thing I did sport-wise at Atlantic was play basketball.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I got moved up to the varsity at the end of the year as a 9th grader. All right. And I didn't play, but I sat the bench, but I got moved up. And then as a 10th grader, I played varsity football. I played pretty decent I was just a starting safety at that time, backup quarterback. Basketball was good that year for me too. And as a sophomore, this little school called Barber, Scotia, the coach came down to recruit some players and thought I was a senior, right? He said, boy, I'm going to have my eye on you. You got 2 more years. I said, yes, sir. He said, I'm going to have my eye on you. But when I was a junior, football chose me.
Yeah.
All right. It chose me. I was so much better in that than track and basketball, even though
didn't those other sports help develop that?
Listen.
Is my thing too. I did coach track. That's the only sport I ever coached. But if everybody ran track, that's gonna elevate your sport, right?
All right, listen to this. I go to Florida State. As a freshman, I run a 4.40, right?
Oh wow.
We had 3 guys in the secondary that could run 4.3 that were seniors my freshman year at Florida State. Well, they left. And so as a sophomore, I'm the fastest on the team, but I'm only running a 4.4. I get on the track team my junior and senior year at FSU, and my 40 time went from a high 4.4 to low 4.3s.
All right. That's money.
Listen, I was the fastest 40-yard dash guy in the NFL in my class.
There you go.
The class of 81. Right? Now, that helped me tremendously. Now, the other thing I had like candy, I was a great long jumper.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I got in the league, especially when I got in the NFL, because I'm 5'11", I'm playing against Harold Carmichael, who's 6'8". But if you throw that ball up, Harold Carmichael wasn't going to get to the ball before me.
That's right, because you could jump. There you go.
I could jump. And I had great timing because of my long jumping ability.
Right.
So that helped me. Right?
Absolutely.
And so all of that helped me. And I wish kids, because I think you can wear a kid out when he's just doing football year round.
Yeah.
You can wear him out, right?
Yeah.
He needs to do something different, and it will really help them.
And you got different muscles.
All of that. Yeah. And it develops other muscles and things like that. And so yeah, I wish they would go back to that, because I think, they're serving the kids an injustice when they're just playing one. And here's the other thing, Yvonne. What if, Josh Smith was my basketball coach when I was in the 9th grade.
Right. But he coached football too.
Well, he didn't at Atlantic. He did at Carver.
Yes.
He did at Carver. Right. So he coached me and they pulled me up.
Yeah.
Right? What if Josh Smith would have told me, Bobby, you got to leave that football alone?
Yeah.
I would have missed the boat.
That's right.
Because I wasn't going nowhere in basketball.
Saying that. But I tell you, I had a principal at a school. I'm not going to name her name. But she was a stickler about that. If she found out that any coach was telling another kid not to play a sport for the high school, she was going to fire him. She didn't play that. She did not play it. You do not give an ultimatum to a kid in another sport.
Can't do that.
Just didn't do it, and she wouldn't allow it.
Can't do that. Well, I'll tell you what's going on in Atlanta. What was kind of, you know, because this thing, the recruiting in high schools, you know, all the players are going to one high school to play together and things like that.
Right.
The private schools are giving so many scholarships to these great athletes now, and telling them you can play 3
here too,
but you can play 3 or 4 sports over here.
Yes,
that's another thing they're doing. Yeah. So the public schools are going to lose out when those kids got a heart to play multiple sports.
Right.
When they don't allow them to do so, because they still
go. If it's a small school.
If it's a small school, they go and do their thing. Absolutely. Well, girl, I'm so happy you came on with me tonight. I've been wanting to do this with you. I've been wanting to do this with you for a long time. Matter of fact, I think now you're my first woman guest.
Oh, wow.
I think you are.
Look, so
now we still breaking records.
A lot of stuff.
Now we still breaking records. You're the first in a lot of things. That's
right.
That's right. Well, listen, thank you for your time and God bless you. And I'll see you soon. I'm gonna try to come home for that 7 under Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to come home for that.
Eric got it going on.
He got it going on. He definitely got it going on. Yeah. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for tonight. Our legend, Miss Yvonne Lee Odom, was with us tonight. And if you like the video, comment on it and share it with your friends. This is 100 Yards of Football, and I'm Bobby Butler, your host. God bless you guys.